certain things that you should not have on your social profiles. So recruiters generally judge you basis your social media presence. Certain time it creates a very bad impression on the
Job
mind of
description. So
recruiter
whatever the
that
skills they
yes.
have mentioned, highlight only those points, highlight only those experience, highlight only those projects which a particular job is asking for. Okay, what is the point of preparing for those
Bad
interviews if you're
impression
not
on
going
the
to get the
mind of
calls?
recruiter. We have certain other very common reasons that often lead to candidates getting rejected.
Instead of adding
Absolutely.
20 last projects, add only last 3 to 4 projects
Doing.
and
So
showcase
it's
your
very
skill set.
important to limit the number of projects, but use only those projects which highlight your skills and which are relevant to the job that you are
Often
applying.
overlooked. Yeah, that is more
Sometimes
better.
even candidate is not aware that he's disqualified on the basis of these grounds. So, or maybe the recruiter can see that he is changing job every 6 months, or maybe the CTC of the candidate is such that it is not within the budget for the role. The
Mhm.
candidate had gaps within 2 or 3 jobs or within his education. So this job is asking for ABC, but you have DEF qualified. So you are
Yeah,
overqualified
this
for
is
the
the very
position.
common mistake that people does actually. So basically use the same resume for 50 jobs they're going to apply, right? So then there will be definitely a very less chance that your resume will get shortlisted, because that's what I recommend. If you're going to apply for 50 jobs, create a 50 different resumes and show laziness here, because this is the first thing which is going to tell recruiter about yourself.
All right, great. So, as we were discussing, that the other common mistake that candidates make is doing certain silly mistakes on their resume, which is like formatting, grammar, bulleting, and the structural error within the CV and resume. So that
Mhm.
should be avoided because it certain time it creates a very bad impression on the mind of recruiter that here is the guy who is not even able to make a good resume, so why should we hire that candidate?
Mhm.
So be very conscious about how you make the CV. It should be ideally around one page, and there should not be any silly mistakes within this, either grammatical or formatting, structural, bulleting, etc. So keep very keen eye on those aspects of the CV.
Mhm.
Apart from that, let's move on and
Okay, can we move to the next slide?
yes.
Oh yeah,
So the
thanks.
next thing that we should keep in mind is what we do is that we do not check how old is the posted advertisement for the recruitment. If some people apply for job which was posted last year or
Hmm.
6 months ago or 8 months ago, and they do not have any update whether the position is already filled or is it still unfilled.
Hmm.
So the candidates need to make sure that the position is not filled when they are applying, and how
Yeah.
they can make sure whether the position is filled or not. And the simplest way of doing that is to apply to the recently posted recruitment vacancy.
Hmm.
The jobs which are posted 6 months 8 months ago, do not
Hmm.
apply them because they are likely already closed and
Hmm.
filled
Correct.
because it is many people have already applied, recruiters have taken action,
Hmm.
and those are already done and
Mm.
dusted. All right, so moving ahead, we have certain other very common reasons that often lead to candidates getting rejected within the job recruitment application process. And these common reasons are so common that they are sometimes they are not even aware of those common. These are very common and very often overlooked. Sometimes even candidate is not aware that he's disqualified on the basis of these grounds.
Mhm.
So have a look on these grounds in front of your screen. As you can see, sometimes the
Mhm.
candidate is overqualified, or maybe the recruiter can see that he is changing job every 6 months, or maybe the CTC of the candidate is such that it is not within the budget for the role,
Mhm.
or maybe the candidate had gaps within 2 or 3 jobs or within his education, her education and job. So the gap matters for certain employers. Then maybe the social media profile that you have on LinkedIn and other platform is not very professional. You have posted certain very unprofessional and very bad images of yourselves, having certain things that you should not have on your social profiles. So recruiters generally judge you basis your social media presence. Then also certain employers think that they want to hire candidates who are based locally within the same city as the office is located. The reason being that they prefer candidate who take less number of leaves, who takes less number of time to commute to the office.
Exactly.
So these are the reasons which employer think that if they hire an outstation candidate, he will take more frequent leaves for going to the hometown. So that is one aspect. Another aspect is that certain times some good aspects become bad for your hiring. The example being that you are overqualified. So the job is asking for ABC, but you have DEF qualified. So you are overqualified for the position. So the HR will not hire you, because then they will understand that you will eventually ask for higher payment, remuneration seat, and your expectation will be higher because of your quality. So sometimes those who are overqualified are not hired, and sometimes other applicants are better qualified than you also. That is also a reason when you are rejected. So there are other candidates who are exceptionally suitable for that particular job profile. Then in that cases, your profile will not likely be selected. So it's better to keep trying for the suitable position and not stopping at a particular juncture. Rest of the cases, I think Amir will take over from here, and he will explain very beautifully the other few
Yeah.
things that we
Mhm.
already discussed.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Thanks, Rohan. First is like create an outstanding resume that stand out. So obviously. So till now we were talking about the bad resumes, right? But yeah, you need to have a very good resume, which basically outstand the other candidates. And so there are a couple of steps that you can follow to build the outstanding resume, because resume is the first thing which will tell about yourself to the recruiter, and
Yes,
you need to sell yourself, right? So you need to sell yourself in a best way. So your resume should be kind of like a representation of your personality, your persona, your portfolio, and everything should be there. So that is what an outstanding resume is. Second thing is avoid jargon. Yeah, this is the very common mistake that people does actually. So when we talk about jargon, that means like let's suppose I'm a technical person, right? I'm a software engineer, so I am aware of fully technical terms. But whatever I talk about, I'll just talk in technical terms, right? But now let's say ki recruiters are not technical, right? Most of the time, and in MNCs, basically there are a couple of layer of recruiters like junior recruiters, senior recruiters, and head HRs and all, right? But
yeah,
a fresher recruiter, basically, he's not having any experience into technical field, right? They are not going to know what technical terms are. So keep your resumes minimalist, like do not involve any very complex technical term which a normal person will not be able to understand it, right? So
that's right.
avoid those terms actually. Keep it simple as much as possible. That's all we need. Third thing is customize your resume for different job applications. Yeah, here the laziness comes, which all of us have actually,
Yeah,
unfortunately. So the thing is like most of the candidates basically just create one resume and apply the same, basically use the same resume for 50 jobs they're going to apply, right? So every job has its own requirement. And when you basically use the same resume for all the different jobs, then there will be definitely a very less chance that your resume will get
that,
shortlisted, because uh, out of 50, maybe you are a good candidate for 2 or 3 jobs, but not for all. So that is the problem. So you need to customize your resume according to the job description. So whatever the skills they
yes,
have mentioned, highlight only those points, highlight only those experience, highlight only those projects which a particular job is asking for. Okay. Read the job description carefully, build your resume again based on the given job description. That's what I recommend. If you're going to apply for 50 jobs, create your 50 different resumes and match it with each job description. Okay, take your time actually. Don't show laziness here, because this is the first thing which is going to tell recruiter about yourself, and then only you're going to land to the interview. Interview preparation is equally important, but this is more important than preparation, because otherwise, if your resumes are not good, you are not even going to get the interviews. And what is the point of preparing for those interviews if you're not going to get the calls, right?
right.
So yeah, that is very important thing. Fourth point is keep your resumes to 1 to 2 pages. Like we all are aware of it, but somehow basically, yeah, I have taken 1,000+ interviews till now, and I have seen every type of. I mean, I will say most of the type of resumes. Like I have seen 15-page resumes as well, and I have seen one
Oh
page
my
resume
God.
as well. 7 pages, 6 pages, 4 pages are common. 3 to 5 pages are very common actually in technical fields, because
Uh-huh.
people used to show their projects and all. But there's a
Mhm.
catch actually. The recruiter wanted to know basically what is your situation right now. They don't want to know the history of you. So don't post entire bio into the resume. There's a trick actually. For example, if you're a technical person, you need to display, you need to show whatever the project that you have done within last 8 years, right? Definitely it is going to be many. So it is impossible kind of to add all those projects, because if you do it, then you might end up with 20 pages of resumes, right?
Yeah.
So avoid those things. First of all, maybe what you can do is you can just modify the headings, add instead of
Hmm.
adding projects, all projects, just add recent projects. That makes more
Correct.
sense actually. Instead of adding
Absolutely.
20 last projects, add only last 3 to 4 projects and showcase your skill set over there. Because that is going to
Yes.
be the recent skill set of yours, right? And this is what the recruiter is looking for.
Yeah.
Similarly,
That's absolutely
yeah, that will
correct.
reduce the size of the application. And
And it
similarly,
also shows, if I may add,
mhm,
it also shows that what are your recent capabilities and skills
exactly.
which you are utilizing during your those projects that you are doing. So it's very important to limit the number of projects, but use only those projects which highlight your skills and which are relevant to the job that you are applying.
Yeah, that is more better explanation actually. Right. Exactly. That's what my point is. So yeah, I hope you understand it. So that's how basically you can reduce the size. Keep it only maximum you can increase it to 2 pages, not more than that. That is the one
Yeah.
point. Ron, can we change the slide?
Yeah. Moving on.
Yep. Now we have a couple of more points. As I said, keep resume short as much as possible. So another trick that you can use is your resume does not need a heading basically. So most of the people I have seen in a resume, they put a resume or a CV on top of the page, unnecessary giving the space to those word actually. Oh, see, you're giving your profile that is already a resume, right? That is already a CV. Why you need to put it on the top of the page? Does not make any sense. You can put it into the file name as well, but you don't need to, right? So save that space and use it for something else, maybe for your
Yes.
skills, maybe for your name. Most more important things which recruiters needs, right? Maybe email, phone number, your GitHub profile, LinkedIn profile. So many important things that you can put at that place. All right, so that's how you can reduce the size again. Then old-fashioned objective statement. Yeah, so you might already aware of it. Like when we start our journey, we go to cyber cafe and ask them to build a resume for us, and they just copy and paste
Copy
the one of the
paste.
template and just update the information and give it to us, right? Because that point of time we do not have much to put into resume, right? We were fresher, we have no projects, we have no prior experience, so just a qualification, right? Education information, personal information, that's all. And that's why to fill that space, we used to put objectives, right? I'm a hardworking person, I'm looking for a good journey, whatever. Many people wrote many things, right? So objectives are basically useless. Like nobody's going to read about those things. People know what you are. So objectives are completely useless. So again, you can save those 3 or 4 lines for something else, which is more important for you, right? So that's how you can reduce it again. The third next thing is prefer reverse chronological order. Yeah, most of the people don't care about this thing actually, but this is equally important. So for example, so whenever you add any education information or your experience, okay, add it into the reverse chronological order actually. Because whenever user read the resume, they read it from top to bottom. Okay. And they just wanted to know what is your recent education, what is your recent company name, where you're working right now. Only recent information they want it, right? They don't want to know where you have worked in 2008, right? They don't want to know it, right? They wanted to know where you're working right now, what is your current status. So that's why just use reverse chronological order. Put the latest information first, and just keep adding it. Previous. Okay, same with the education, right? But if you're masters, just add the master's information first, then the bachelor, then the intermediate, then the high school. That's all. Blah blah. It's up to you. If you have any
Absolutely.
certification degree, whichever you have done recently, add those as a
Hmm.
certification first, diplomas first, then add your graduation. So just a reverse chronological order. Recruiter just wanted to know what is your recent updates. Okay, so then don't have to put a lot of effort in reading your profiles, right? They just start from the top and they just immediately get the information and they are
Yeah.
okay, you are good, right? That will increase the callback, interview callbacks. Okay, so that is one thing. Next is make it ATS proof. So what is ATS basically? ATS is basically a software which basically is used for screening the particular candidate's profiles. Okay, so nowadays, as I said, okay, in big companies they get thousands of profiles, right? It is impossible for human to basically shortlist the candidate out of thousands of profiles. Humanly, it is not possible, right? So what this ATS does is it basically take those profiles and screen the resume and shortlist the candidates basically, and all the qualified candidates, it can filter it based on the given job description. That's how it does. So there's a kind of like a complete what we say, a document that we need to follow actually while building the resumes. I mean, to make it ATS proof, right? So basically, this is what
Yeah,
Refer Skill Consultancy is doing. Actually, they have their own people actually who can write a CV for you, and they can easily basically make it ATS proof because they know how the software works actually, and they can bypass it. So those are the things. Because of ATS, I mean, many people who are actually qualified, they get rejected because of it, just because
yes,
your resume is not good enough. So it is equally loss for company as well, because they sometimes get rejected automatically, get rejected the candidates which are actually deserves to be there in the company. Instead, they select
absolutely.
those candidates which are not even qualified to the profile. Because of their resume, they just get selected. So it is about how better your resumes are. It is outstanding from the other candidates or not, or maybe it is ATS proof. That is nowadays it is, because nowadays every big company basically adopting this software tool actually,
Yeah,
they because they were just wanted to reduce the what we say,
the human effort, the
human
human time.
effort, yeah, human time and effort. So that's why they just wanted to speed up the entire recruitment journey. They wanted to fill the position as soon as possible. If a person just start going to go through the resumes, I mean, thousands of the people, I mean, this humanly kind of impossible. Can't do that. So that's why it is
That's right.
important. So I hope now you get the point. Okay, how why resumes are important actually, right? That's and
Yeah.
why you are getting less calls, and how can you improve it, right? Okay, maybe you can
Yes,
switch the
absolutely. Yeah. Now here is the second
yeah.
last slide of the
Mm,
discussion. So should I explain these? Are you, do you like to explain?
yeah, you can go ahead. Over to you.
Okay, all right. So, okay, guys. So listen very carefully that when you are sending a resume, it's very important to name your resume well. Certain people, what they do is they put random names, 00014, whatever the system names it, they send this as it in the mail attachment. Don't do that, because ultimately, don't. What you should try to think is like you should reduce the effort of the recruiter. You should try to make your CV in such a way that the recruiter has nothing to do on it. Name your CV something like your full name underscore resume or CV, whatever you write, and then underscore the month or the year as per, if you want to add, you can add. So first and last name, and then slash or underscore, and then the resume or CV. So if you write that wording in your CV document, it will help recruiter identify the document. But if it has a random name like 0123 doc 1, then it is very hard for the recruiter to identify whose CV is it or whose document is it. So always name your resume in a very suitable format, like your name and then or your name and then when you rename your resume, do not send your resume in the word file itself. Always convert it into PDF format. I've seen it a lot of time. What they do is the candidate fills it all the details and send the word file itself as an attachment. So what happens is it comes in a very haphazard way of formatting, and it does not look good. It is not very professional to have a word file as a. Always format it well, name it well, and convert it into PDF format. Then only you have to send it to the recruit. And always when you are sending, and this is the third point, which is very important point, specify in the email what your application is for, which position are you applying. Do not like whatever. What I have seen and observed is that subject line sometimes remains blank, or subject line is just like hi, hello sir. This is not very professional. So write down the name of the position you are applying for, or the position number that you are applying for, and then the specific title of the position or vacancy. You write that, and then you write application for, and then the position, then the vacancy, and then you start your email after that, dear sir or respected sir or ma'am, and then you write the mail. And do not, what I have also seen is that they do not write anything in the message box. They just regards and then their name. This is not something you are sending to your friend or your childhood crush. You write
No,
something
yeah, no, that's true, but there is another reason for it actually. So I'll tell you. I observe it actually. The reason is like, see, whenever the company, basically recruiter is working for a company, right? And it is very much possible that they are searching for different job profiles, right? So if you are sending an email, make sure you add the job name actually for which you're
yes,
applying for. Maybe if it is very good if you can attach the job link as well, maybe a job ID or whatever, something that they have given in the description.
Yeah,
Maybe the
usually they
URL of the
have a
job in
job
the,
ID also.
yeah, in the description section, or maybe just add the just a job name actually for you're applying for in the title with your name actually. For example, software engineer. If you're applying for front end developer, simply say front end developer hyphen your name Amir Khan, and so that's how they can keep track of it.
To
Otherwise, if
find
you
you.
randomly just send an email, okay, hi, or maybe
Very hard to find.
whatever, simply something, yeah, they just get the email, but they will not be able to get the
Track
context
you.
actually, right? So
Yeah,
for which particular profile this candidate is applying for, they don't have enough time to open the email, download the CV, check for the profile, and then keep you in the list. They just immediately
absolutely.
forgot about it actually. So that's why most of the time when you send an email, you won't get the revert back, right?
Absolutely
So
correct.
make sure you add those information in the email.
Very important point you have highlighted, Amir, and I would like to add that when you reach out for follow up, it shows that you are a sincere candidate and you are serious about getting the job. And
Yeah.
if you are selected, you will likely join very soon, very immediate joiner you can become. So usually recruiter keep those names in their mind who has came back to them and inquired about their status. So it's very important. Next, which is I think Amir will explain better, the networking and referrals. How important it is, Amir, you have to explain, and how we are also building a cohort. Actually, it's a network of all the people who have taken service from Refer Skilled, who has got training from the Refer Skilled Academy. So all of those candidates who are placed in different companies, we have a group of those candidates, and we help new candidates get referrals through those groups. So it's very important, and these actually work. So if you're not able to get a job but somebody refers your CV to their HR, it has a high probability of getting. It's
Mm,
very important.
yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that this is the power of networking which helps you get a lot of referrals. So these two things are interrelated. So the
Yeah.
larger your network, the higher the chances of getting.
In short, yes. So that's why just grow your networking skills. That is
Yeah,
important.
and it works both ways. It's very important to highlight that as a part
Mm.
of the network, you should also help others if they are in need and you can help. So it is
It is
a
just
mutual help process. It is a mutual process. It's not just that you are trying to get help from the network. You should also contribute to your, if there are people who need your help and you are
mhm.
able to help them, definitely you should help those people. It builds your credibility and it builds trust. So always try to seek referrals from your friends who are working in it. Really
Yeah.
helps.
Build
Yeah.
your network first of all. Then
Yeah,
only you can
that
ask for
is
the
important.
referral.
That's important. We have the last slide of the day, and I hope it will clear many of the doubts that the viewers will have.
So when you start looking for a job, what people does is they do not update their skill sets. I mean, maybe you were working with a company from last 4 years, and now you're planning to switch. Okay, but within the 4 years, you definitely would have learned something, right? You must have enhanced your skill set. Must have learned some new skills. Maybe some older skills you must have mastered, or whatever the something that you learn new. You should update it on the job portal, so your profile can be updated all the time. Because again, your profile on the job portal is kind of another form of resume. Okay, so make sure you update your profiles. uh, Basically keep your profile updated on the internet, on the job portal, all the job portals basically, like LinkedIn, Naukri, Monster, whichever you prefer. Okay, that is one thing. That is why it is very important to get the callbacks. And apart from this, the algorithm of those portals is written in such a way, if you update your profile, that means you're looking for a job, and it is just so that's a, in that way basically they highlight candidates to the companies, because whenever a recruiter log into the portal, they will be suggested some candidates. Okay, these are the people who are looking for a job into this domain for this particular profile based on your
Yeah,
profile basically. Okay, so this recommendation works based on the updation, based on like how when this profile is updated. So let's suppose if your profile is updated today, then definitely you have more chances to get a call back by tomorrow or within this week actually. So whenever you start looking for a job, just keep updating your profile. So basically update your profile, and yeah, that is important. Now the last thing is respond to recruiter emails and calls. Yeah, I have noticed one thing, like recruiters send messages to candidates over the internet, like on LinkedIn, networking websites, right? So I have noticed that people do not respond. Then even you're not looking for a change, at least respond them that I'm not looking for a change, and basically that's how you build a network, right? A good communication should be required everywhere. So make sure you answer them whatever they're asking for. Maybe if you have some of your friend, basically someone you know, not even a friend, someone you know who is looking for a job, you can recommend their profile to that recruiter.
Yes,
Okay, so that is also you are giving something to the community, right? So
that's
that's
very
why it is
important.
important. As Rohan mentioned, like it is from both sides, mutual thing. You give something, you will get something. So that's why it is important. You help the recruiter, recruiter will help you out. So vice versa.
And
That's why it
it's
is important.
important that I would like to add that maybe today you do not want that job and you are not
Hmm.
responding, but
Hmm.
maybe after 4 months you lost your job and now you need that job which you did not reply back 4 months ago. So now the recruiter will not reply because he's
It's
seeing that he replied to me after 4. So professionally also it is a professional gesture, it is
it's
a
a
very
human mind,
professional attitude. Yeah, it's a
psychological thing.
professional attitude also that from a professional point of view you should respond to each and every email which is professionally sent to you for professional purposes. It shows
Hmm.
that you are a serious and professional human being. You take
Yeah.
care and value others times, and you respect others opinion and value the views of others. So always respond to recruiter. If you do not want that job at that moment, you can simply write, hi, hello there, I am not looking for a job change at this moment, but in future if I may if I am in need of certain jobs or job change, I will definitely reach out. Thank you for contact, regards.
Mhm.
You send that email, it will look nice to the recruiter also, and next time when you will send an email for job, he will respond positive. So it's very important habit that. So yeah, so it was the, let's conclude this discussion. It was a discussion on how to get selected for the interview call, how to build great CVs, what kind of mistakes that you should avoid, and what are the things that you should keep in mind while applying for a job on the portal, job portals. So I hope you got a lot of new insight and it will help you in your job search journey. So if you have any question, you can reach out to Amir on his channel, or you can even reach out to us on our website www.referskill.com. And if you need any specific customized attention, do send us an email on info@referskill.in, IN at the end. So we look forward to your feedback and responses. And I'm very happy to have this podcast with Amir. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Lying,
Yeah.
don't go to that guy. Okay, so